Good morning and happy Tuesday, everyone. It's time for some tea with tea on this Talk Therapy Tuesday. I'm Tanya McLean-Nicholas, licensed marriage family therapist and owner of Renewed Hope Counseling. The seasons are changing and we're springing up this entire month. Last week, we talked about getting prepared for the new season. Spring is the time for planting new seeds for our future harvest. It's also the season where we see the bloom from the previous seeds planted. Well, today we're talking about pulling the weeds in the garden of our lives, clearing the clutter, and making room for healthy growth. So go ahead and grab your tea or your coffee, whichever you prefer, and let's dig in. As we prepare to plant seeds this season in our gardens of life, we must begin by pulling out all those weeds that love to hang out and choke away at any potential growth. A thriving garden is sustained in the proper environment, and with the right soil that is nurtured, and with the removal of weeds. The presence of weeds is a threat to its growth, but this is no different when it comes to our lives. Humans are no different than nature. We can grow whatever we want. However, what we feed it and how we take care of it will determine if it will thrive. Weeds take many forms, and they do not always grow outside. Just like gardening, in our lives, we experience a continual process of planting seeds and pulling weeds in order to see fruit harvested later. In a garden, weeds cannot be present because it will choke out the potential growth of a new harvest of fruit. So let's look at how weeds take root in our lives and begin the pulling or decluttering process. First, let's pull the weeds or clear the clutter in our homes. As I looked around my home this weekend, I noticed there were several things that I had not looked at, let alone picked up in years. How many times have you found yourself in this cycle of bringing in new items in the form of clothing, houseware, equipment, and after time, they end up just sitting there, collecting dust for years? You may never even throw it out, but bringing in new items never stops. Many times, holding on to things that you do not need and watching it collect over time can create feelings of overwhelm, stress, and anxiety. When you declutter your home, you become more organized, you save more time, and you create a free-flowing environment that allows for a vision and new growth. Now, some people hold on to items because they have sentimental value, or they're just not ready to get rid of them. In these cases, no one can tell you the right time to clear away those items. However, if they are considered weeds and they are preventing growth or compromising growth, then it might be time to let them go. Secondly, let's pull the weeds and clear the clutter in our heads. The weeds in our heads look like negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, and unsupportive habits. This may sound like I'm not good enough, no one cares, I'm alone, or beliefs such as I'm not worthy, I can't do it, or even worrying about things you cannot control, like getting sick or overthinking. There are also unsupportive habits like busyness, which increases anxiety, and worry or lack of self-care, which impacts our mental and our physical well-being. And if you're not careful, these type of weeds will grow when you least expect it and will quickly multiply. These are distractions, and they draw you in directions that will only lead you further away from your purpose and even your destiny. Finally, let's pull out those weeds and clear the clutter in our relationships. These weeds are probably the toughest weeds to pull because they have deep roots. These are the people in your life that choke off your happiness, your joy, your peace, your energy, and your sense of well-being. It is imperative that you pull the weeds in your relational garden and begin to cultivate an environment that's warm, that you enjoy spending time in it or with it, and feeds your spirit and allows you to grow and thrive. The garden of your relationships is important because it can be a source of social support, which nurtures your overall mental health and well-being. Weeding or decluttering is a beautiful thing because it's cleansing and it gets rid of the unnecessary, unhelpful junk in our homes, our heads, and our relationships. This allows more room for seeds to be planted and growth to occur. As you move into spring, remember the process of weeding, planting, and caring for your life garden because the future holds exciting surprises of sprouting and blooming. Well, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed your tea with tea on this Talk Therapy Tuesday. I'm Tanya McLean Nicholas. Have a beautiful day.